I've never set out to have a collection like a collector. Like I want the pristine model of this one and I want to get all of these in this color or, anything like that. My collection of guitars is all based on things that I thought would be inspiring to have as a songwriter, as a musician, to have around, to like put my hands on and see if I liked it. And if it made me play different or, inspired me to make something that I'd never made before. My fascination with weird Japanese guitars started a long time ago because I'd go to pawn shops and you'd see all kinds of crazy stuff that wasn't really like any American guitars, like Yamaha Flying Bananas and things like that. And I always liked those guitars, and they were usually kind of fun to have at least a couple around when you're in the studio because they would make weird sounds or not normal, traditional rock and roll sounds. But the fascination with lawsuit era Japanese guitars started a few years ago. And that means, the guitars that they made to be exactly like a Fender or a Gibson. And at that time, they were making them at such high quality that they were kind of surpassing what the American brands were able to do, I think. And I didn't realize that because when I was younger, there's probably a little bit of xenophobia or just American exceptionalism. Everybody talked about Japanese cars and things like that as being inferior. It was a kind of a line of propaganda that was pervasive and hard to shake. So we always thought, those Japanese guitars they can't be as good. And I'm ashamed of myself for taking so long to realize that that's ridiculous. The weirdest one that I look for, they didn't really make lawsuit copy guitars, at least not that I know of, Xenon. Their guitars all seem to be pretty unique, and I'm not an aficionado of this stuff, but I would imagine it's really hard to be an aficionado unless you live in Japan, because so much of it was just for the Japan market. But I know Xenon is probably another company or 3 or 4 companies too, but I can't name them all. Like there's like Victoria or something like that, Kimberly maybe, I don't know. But their guitars all have like lots of fun switches and 3 pickups and, and they actually are really, really cool playing and sounding guitars, and I use them a lot. So that's the kind of the main one I look for. The Grecos and the lawsuit type guitars like Tokais and things like that, I just like, but you know what you're getting. You're like, the goal is to try and get a guitar that's playable and usable, but it's like you want a Les Paul or a Strat or Tele. Kawai is the other one that maybe a lot of people wouldn't search for. Maybe a lot of people don't even know that Kawai made guitars. And again, they probably didn't. There's like 2 or 3 factories that made a lot of this stuff. In fact, I think there's a factory that made copies of Fenders and Fenders at the same time. That kind of undermines their argument that they were inferior.
So one of your fascinations with Kawai specifically are these MoonSault guitars. So they're half moons.
Nope, that's not a half moon. That's a waxing gibbous.
Waxing gibbous, it's gibbous, not gibbous.
I'm not a astronomer, but I'm pretty sure it's. I think pretty sure it's gibbous.
Yeah, because I called it a wading gibbous, but you were like, no.
Not a wading. It's not a wading gibbous. It's a bird. In the back of my mind, I was kind of aware that they existed because Rico Kasich and the Cars had one. I think it's on one of the album covers. He's holding one. And so I saw that when I was younger. I'm sure at the time I was like, oh, that's so silly. That's goofy. We wanted proletariat meat and potatoes guitars, not glamorous guitars when we were kids. What I'm starting to realize is that this is really embarrassing to say, but I think I'd kind of run out of guitars to look for at some point. And I started just like kind of being intrigued by somewhat cheaper guitars, because a lot of the guitars I've been buying and collecting for a long time are way more expensive than when I started. I don't know, I think I just bought one on a whim. And then I was kind of amazed at how much I loved it, like as a guitar. And didn't have anything else like it, really, that has like that kind of high output and bells and whistles. I think it literally has bells and whistles on it. For somebody that's looking for a really high output, humbucking kind of Les Paul type guitar that's, hot rodded with some, coil taps and phase shifts and whatever else those other toggles do. Yeah, I think it's a good guitar, but you have to really commit to the shape. Mm-hmm. You need a cape.
Has it ever been enough?
I'm a pretty devout Reverb client, I would say. I have a routine of going through Reverb on a daily basis, probably several times a day, just to check and see what's new, what's been posted or listed recently. If it's something that's, I don't have and is desirable and it's a decent price, I'll kind of pounce on it. If it's something that's been around for a while and I'm just discovering that it's on there, I'll make an offer. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to find this stuff if you're looking for it, especially, the way Reverb works. It's not that hard to do. I have a lot of saved searches, and the obvious ones are you're looking for a guitar, the model, the name of the company, you search for it. But I think you should also misspell the name of the guitar and search for that, especially if it's something that would be an easily, misspelled word, like Electra. There are ones that are listed with a K. Even some like models, like a Gibson Hummingbird. You could spell Hummingbird with two. I don't know how strict the search engine is, but it seems to be fairly strict. So getting around that, I think, is like just misspelling stuff. Most of the time, nothing will come up. And then sometimes you'll see something that, not that you want to take advantage of somebody, but usually somebody that misspells it and lists it isn't like a guy that knows exactly what it is. And so the deals are usually a little better. But there's also maybe a little sketchier as to maybe it's not actually that thing. Maybe it really is a Giblon. The other thing is like, I don't know, like I'll search for, like I really like glam music and Mark Bolan. So I'll just put Mark Bolan in there. Or I'll put Peter Green in there. I watch a lot of music videos, like of videos of live musicians playing in the 70s and 60s, and archival footage of Captain Beefheart on the Beat Club, like all kinds of like stuff that, you're just like kind of scanning the back line, looking for things that are interesting, and then you go search for it.
Do you search your own name, Reverb?
I have searched my own name just because I'm unrepentant narcissist. No, I'm curious sometimes at there's a few guitars that have become associated with me a little bit over the years, like Kel Croydon's with the birds on them, things like that. So if I search my own name, sometimes one of those will come up that I haven't seen. I'm also kind of curious at what people are selling with my name on it, and I want to make sure that it actually is something like that, because I can recognize the guitars that I've had, and I don't want somebody to be doing that if it's not something that's legit. And then occasionally, recently, I've been a few people have made copies of one of my guitars that I've played for a long, long time. It's a Jaguar that's been stripped. It just has a single humbucker and a red headstock because it was originally candy apple red. And there's a few Japanese sellers that have made copies of it. And then I've seen a guy that made a copy of it that put a fuzz circuit in it, which is cool. The truth is that I never buy anything on Reverb. I do not have the keys to my own account. I do not have a credit card attached to it or anything. So it's all a fail-safe measure to put 2 keys in at the same time and turn them at the same time to buy something. So basically I text Mark at 4 in the morning and we're both awake most of the time. And he'll just roll over in bed and go, yours. And he's done that with a few things that I was just asking him to look at. It's like, what? We bought that? Oh, shit. Oddly enough, that is probably one of the first guitars I ever coveted because I hadn't seen a lot of electric guitars in person as a young kid that was really intrigued, really obsessed with music, wanting to learn how to play guitar. But there was a Baldwin organ piano store at the mall, and they usually had 3 or 4 guitars behind the counter. It wasn't where normal people would go to buy a guitar if you knew what you're doing, but apparently they could sell a few at a piano store. But I didn't know any different. I didn't know that those were different from Les Pauls. I just oh, that looks like the body shape of, Mick Jones from The Clash plays one of those, And so, yeah, I always dreamed of having one of those, and that's probably why I ended up buying one to check it out, because I could afford one eventually. And then I was again surprised by the quality, that they're actually really good guitars and usable. But the effects that they come with, or that you can get, that they're just cartridges that you pop into the back, are effective. They're effective effect. They work and they sound good, and they're not exactly like any pedal you have. And I don't know, I've used them on records and stuff. I think they're really fun. I don't know what tank tone is. Let's try tank tone. Frog nose. There's more, there's dynamic fuzz. Those are all boring though, right? You can put 2 in at a time. We'll do frog nose and tank tone, since who knows what they are. Fun. See how amazing it is? It's amazing. I'm guessing that's frog nose.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Tank tone. That seems like to be without. Tank tone doesn't seem to do much, I don't. But this doesn't. We'll just do it on the fly. We'll just get rid of tank tone. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Works amazing. You gotta get used to it. See, you can't get that sound from another guitar. Good luck with that. These are Maestro. Help.
There you go.
These are Maestro Pedals. This is as small as they could make them back in the day, even though that's all that's inside of them.
Yeah.
But I just think that the beautiful design, just the simplicity of these shapes, and they say different things depending on where you put them. If in semaphore, wanting to flag a boat down. I just think they're great pedals to begin with. Maestro made great stuff, and look at that, that's beautiful. Definitely don't have enough room on stage for a full pedal board of these, but they're all great. They all have really great applications. There's a few other ones too, but once I started looking for them, I realized that there were for a whole bunch of them. This is a different era of it because it's not quite the same logo. This is the most interesting one, and you've probably heard it on records, I think. It's a very distinctive sample and hold sound that's like it's like an auto wah combined with a repeater type thing. And it's a filter that samples and repeats, but very early, really janky kind of version of that. I think the green one was Reverb. It's one of those companies where you think you know what you're talking about when you think of the different models and stuff, and then one will pop up that you've never seen before. There's just so many different variations of them, and I mean, I'm sure somebody has it all figured out, but I'm always amazed that there's a new one that doesn't look exactly like any of the other ones I've ever seen, which I guess is the nature of those smaller companies that were building guitars by hand and building them for people and taking custom orders and also just experimenting with the materials they had around. And you see a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. And they've got the adjustable nuts. Is that what it is? That it's like you can set the intonation?
Yep. Staggered. Staggered nuts. I haven't seen a lot of nuts, but I would say that probably most of them are staggered to some degree.
Maybe you're right.
I said staggered, not staggering. Oh my God. I'm always interested in like gear being applied to a genre it wasn't designed for. So I was curious what could I do with a locking tremolo? What could I do with a guitar that is basically designed for shredding, for speed, and not necessarily for strumming and I don't know, but those guitars are extremely adept at noise. Deconstructing and putting them in weird tunings and using the ability to stay completely in tune to like play melodies, with them and do weird things. On top of that, whenever I get an instrument like that that's designed for a specific type of player, I try and learn a few things like about how that style of music works, or how I'll never be a shredder, but you can, we live in an era where you can go online and watch a million tutorials of how to get started shredding, get some techniques or some tutorials on how to hold your pick and like finger tap and do that. So it's always fun to like add little things like that to your you know, your skill set, even though I'm never going to use it probably, but I think it opens up, you know, it keeps your mind open to other ways of using these tools. I want to get better. I really like the idea of getting better at guitar. And one of the ways I think that I get better is by learning. It's the same way I've learned how to do anything. It's like it's a really, maybe not, it doesn't have a coherent strategy or philosophy behind it. It's just where my mind becomes fixated and interested, I'll like pursue it for a little while. It's not that uncommon. I mean, everybody does it on the internet, you know, it's like almost like that, but I've been doing it my whole life, like going into bookstores and not knowing what book I'm looking for, but buying a book that says, Jeff, hey, maybe you could learn how to sail a boat or something. I don't know. It's just a curiosity about the world and a curiosity about how music works and all the different approaches to doing it. And I think it's been good for me to keep my mind open to how you know, what all the different ways of approaching it are.